I'm going to do a video on these knives here, which are, they call them neck knives, but I call them prison shank knives, because basically that's kind of what they are. They don't really have a whole lot of versatility to them. I figured I'd do a video on all of them because there's really not a whole heck of a lot you can say to do an individual video on each one. I have done a video on this one, which I was quite impressed with, this one here, but I'll just show each one. Like they're kind of interesting in their own way. But we'll look at this one first. I've already done a video on it. You can go back if you want to see like more details on it. But these knives, of all these knives, this one kind of has the most versatility. They all seem to be, you could, like, if it was something you were pulling from the top, like say as a neck knife, when you pull down it would come out like that, where you'd have your like your small finger in the bottom, and then if it was on a belt or a boot or whatever, you would come up from this side. But I think all these knives are best used upside down like this, like in the downward position. This one has a little bit more versatility than the other ones. It's also quite a bit larger than the other ones because you have a bit of cutting surface, so it could be used as a regular knife. But you can see that really, like, the big swoop on here, that's not really like, it doesn't really give me confidence in its strength when it has a swoop like that. That's more for like ease of puncturing. I would say that's why it's like that. And this one is really decent. All of these knives retail between the $10 and $15 mark. But so there's this one, you'll recognize, like, they don't really have names when you order them. They just come kind of as they are. They don't really have a box or anything like that. So you would have to recognize it just off of looks, and different sellers sell them, but if they look like this, they're probably the exact same. So this is the one I say I'm really quite impressed, but it is larger than the others. And then I'll move on to this one, which this is a really interesting one. It's nice it comes in actual Kydex, like sheath, holster, whatever you want to call it, which this one does too, but the sheath sucks on it. But this knife here, it's actually like a little, it's sort of like a ringed scalpel blade, but you can see how it's not really very versatile. Like, it would cut, it'd actually be quite a good box cutter, to be honest, because it's so small, and you can use it like a regular knife like this to cut. But I think, again, it's better as a actual knife like this, or you could use it something like if it was in your palm like that. That's why I give these the prison shank designation, because it's just the way that you use them. And then this one here, it's quite thick, but it kind of just is what it is. It's more of a intimidating, interesting looking knife. And I would call these knives not spikes. Like, there's a reason why I'm not putting other stuff in with these. Like, this here is a more of a spike knife. Like, I've got a few like this, which I'll show in the future in videos, but this is a spike knife because it is a knife and it's meant to be like a spike style, so I don't consider it to be just like a shank style. Now this one here is the more of your true scalpel style. They're really neat looking, really heavy duty. This piece here, it's a very heavy duty, and you can get this with the rounded scalpel blade, or you could get the like the Tanto style, like angle cut on there. It's quite nice, and it's the only one that doesn't have the ring, but it can be used various ways, like as a actual shank, or this way. The other ones are better like this way, but it's an interesting style of blade. Like, if all you want to do is basically use it for poking, or if you just want something that looks really cool for opening packages, or like if you have, like, what you're cutting is very small, like, you know, tape and stuff like that, I think, you know, they're perfectly fine, like, for that. Actually, I'll pull the other ones out just so we can have a look at them. Most of these do come in, like, I'll just say silver and black. You can order them in either color. So this is actually my favorite of all of them, is this one here. It is called, I think it was called something like the Wasp. I'm not exactly sure, I can't really remember, but this one's really nice because it is just super, super light. This thing is, it's lighter than any of these other ones, but when we get it out, you can see the blade. It actually has a really good cutting surface on it, and then it's got a massively like angled blade here. But the way it fits in the hand, it's got the perfect jimping there. You can use it as, you know, somewhat of a little knife, and then of course you can use it that way also. So they're like, these are just the little, say, the shank style knives, or the limited versatility knives, whatever you want to call them. Like, they're just interesting in their own, that they look different than just about anything, and they're reasonably priced. Like, if you just want a toy or something, basically, like, just you know, just for looks or whatever, not actually something to carry, I think they're you know, they're perfectly fine for that price point. So anyways, that's the video. Thank you for watching.